Welcome to True North Insight, and my name is Jill Davey, and I'm one of the teachers with True North Insight. So tonight is just going to be a short introduction to some cues that I've been finding helpful for my meditation practice lately. Kind of simple, I think, and I'm kind of just exploring, what are the elements that are really helpful in my practice, and just using those over and over again till it feels a little more um, clear what the direction is and what I'm doing. Yeah, so I'll just say a little introduction of those, and then I will be guiding a little bit through the practice, and also intending to have nice chunks of silence in there for you to be exploring it and checking it out for yourself. And I also have a poem that is not from Rosemary Watola Traumer tonight, but from another one of our favorites, from Danna, Faulds. And so for folks on the Zoom meeting before this YouTube, it's one I maybe have read to you with you before. It's called "It Is Enough," and her name is Danna, Danna Faulds, Faulds. So I've put that in the chat here, and if you're watching on the YouTube recording, it will be down below for you there. I'm also going to put this in the chat here because I know some people have to leave early tonight, which is a link to the True North Insight fundraiser that's coming up with Joseph Goldstein and Pascal Auclair and Dawn Mauricio, and wisdom and compassion in times of uncertainty. So if you're able to, with your schedule, that would be a lovely thing to check out. So that's there in that link. Okay. So I kind of changed the words from what I sent in the email because and so there's three words that I'm exploring around my meditation practice, kind of I want to say steps, but they're not steps like a recipe, it's more organic and felt into than that. So the first word or invitation is compose. And so for me, composing is this sense of gathering, preparing the ground, centering, embodying, anchoring. So the word compose fit for me with all of that, and we'll explore it together in the practice tonight. But it's just all of this arriving into the body, into the present moment, feeling the support of the ground, letting go of any extra tension that isn't needed in the in that moment, and starting to gather our attention, to compose our attention with what's called Sati Mindfulness, which is Sati in the Pali language that the teachings were first written down in. It is the word that has come to mean mindfulness, and where it's very important to take that time, I find in my system anyways, at the beginning of a practice, to just settle in, and not to hurry past that part. And so when we feel some stability and presence, composure, then the second invitation, exploration, is to illuminate. And illuminating is, of course, brightening, curiosity, paying attention to whatever the anchor is. In meditation practices, it's called Dhammavicaya. It's the curiosity of, what is this really? Instead of just assuming, oh, it's a breath. I'm not really that interested in it because I'm not really paying attention. But when we really pay attention to whatever the anchor is, sound, sensation, breath, it's a completely different kind of attention. It's like really feeling it, being curious, not assuming you know how it is, because moment by moment it's actually different. So composing, gathering, settling, and then illuminating, bringing more curiosity, brightness, attention. And then when there's some stability, so we want to keep both of those factors in play. They're part of the 7 factors of awakening. Some of you might recognize Sati and Dhammavicaya, the first 2. If you have no idea what I just said, totally don't worry about it. I'm just sharing things for different people's practice, and that might be helpful or relevant depending on how they're studying and practicing. Okay, so we're maintaining this composing, and then we're maintaining the illumination, the curiosity, the brightness. And then when those feel that they're both on board, then we bring in open. So compose, illuminate, and open. And open, it again, we want to maintain the first 2 aspects. So when we're opening, it's an inclusive attention, softening, it's a little bit wide, at the same time as staying embodied and paying attention. So sometimes when we get to this place of opening, we can get a bit drifty, like the mind just flits away or dozes off because it's lost that illumination, and it's lost the embodiment of the composure. So we want to keep these elements. You kind of have to keep shifting them and juggling and tuning up, like, oh, I got a bit dull there, I need to turn up the illumination again, you know, or I kind of spaced out and left the body, oh, I need to come back and reconnect with the composure. So it's a constant adjusting or tuning. It's referred to as tuning a lute, or a stringed instrument that, you know, you have to keep adjusting. Even when you're partway through a song, it's like, the strings loosened up and you gotta brighten up the attention again, or yeah. So those are the 3 elements that I'd like us to practice with tonight. And as we go into the practice, just as a way of arriving in, as part of that composing, I'll read this poem that I referred to called It Is Enough by Danna Faulds, and then we'll carry on into the practice. That's it. Look at me, I'm getting so fast at my little micro talks. I'm so proud of myself. So, invitation here as part of the beginning of the composing and gathering our attention is around your posture. So get what supports you need here to be. We want to be stable and awake, alert. We're bringing in that already in our posture. We're bringing in these elements of composing and illuminating and opening right in our posture. So I'm just going to take my legs a bit wider here and sit back in the chair. Getting anything else that you need here. So if you're new to the practice, It's helpful to have some uprightness with your posture, but if you're experiencing a lot of physical pain and your body needs the support of laying down, you can also use that posture. If you're laying down, it can be helpful to raise up your forearm so that your arm will drop if you're falling asleep, and then you can just have some illumination and begin again. And then your hands could rest wherever it's comfortable for you, and it's helpful to have the elbows back underneath the shoulders, which helps to keep the chest upright and open. Palms can be down in the lap or up or resting together. And the posture for your eyes, see what helps you with composing your attention, gathering your attention. Does it help you to have your eyes closed or just resting downward and slightly open? And some people feel more centered and supporting what they need by having their eyes open and just gazing out a window or at a wall. So you can try out those different places for resting the eyes, closed, slightly open, or just resting on a soft gaze. So now we have begun with this first aspect of composing just with our posture here. It is enough by Danna Faulds. It is enough right now to taste one moment of peace. Of course I want more, but at least the door is open. It is enough to draw a conscious breath and let my hands relax. Fingers releasing their tight grasp on things outside of my control. It is enough to shed a layer of stress, as if taking off a jacket or a pair of too tight shoes. Ease of being has to start somewhere. This breath is my first step. So we can invite this intention to taste one moment of peace, to know that that is possible for us. So allow yourself this time to compose your attention. Prepare the mind, prepare the body by grounding. This simply means feeling the actual touch points of your body with contact with ground, with the support that you are on. So really notice the sensations of pressure and touch. What parts of your body are making contact with something solid and supportive? Part of that grounding can be the sensation of where the hands are resting, the feet, the seat, legs, or if you're laying down, the whole back body, but being particular about really noticing what's touching ground. So we're gently gathering in our attention to be here now, to be here with the body in the center of this present moment. Part of this composing, along with feeling sensations of ground, is the felt experience of centeredness. So for some, the thought, the image, the sensation of your spine, your center, your uprightness. If part of your practice is to kind of quickly go to your anchor of whatever anchor you're using, we haven't gotten to that yet, but if you're already kind of on your breath, see if you could just allow a bit more time here with this aspect of composing, gathering, centering, grounding. And see if it might really help with the next aspects if you give this time. If you're noticing that your mind is quite active and feels like you're wrestling with the mind to be here, you can give yourself a little gentle anchor of words which will help the mind to gather. So you could really gently, soft attention on the word here, now, here, now. Maybe just for a few times, and then see if you can let it go and just feel the body here, now. So I'm going to be quiet for about 2 minutes here, and continue. We'll all continue together to just gather here now. You may have noticed by now that the mind is in its habit of jumping to future or past, something that's happened that we're ruminating about, or something we anticipate that we're trying to plan. And this is completely natural. The invitation now is that when we notice this is happening, is to come back into this composing, gathering, centering. And to assist with this aspect, we're all going to choose an anchor for our practice tonight. So there's a few options, and you can see what feels most supportive to you. One option is to just anchor as we have been with the whole body. Sensations of the body in whatever posture you're in. Grounded, upright, centered. Sensations of the body. Another anchor could be hearing, particularly if you're in a place that you're trying to practice tonight and there's sounds that, if we weren't being intentional with our attention, we might find them distracting or annoying. Rather than allowing that to capture your attention in that way, you can include the sounds as part of your anchor. Well, sounds are coming and going, they're changing, I'm not controlling it. Lots of ways to pay attention. And the third anchor is the breath sensation. So we're still here in this composing aspect that we're practicing with tonight. And part of this is now choosing what anchor feels most supportive to your practice tonight. Whether it's the whole body, the sounds, or the breath. Just choose an anchor. And now we'll bring in this second element of our practice tonight, which is to illuminate. So we're going to really illuminate that anchor that you've chosen, which means to really pay attention to it. Lots of brightness and curiosity, whether it's the sensations of the body, the breath, or the experience of hearing. All of them are coming and going, and we're just really curious. What does that feel like? So in these next few minutes of silence, we'll all continue together, bringing in brightness, curiosity, illumination to the anchor. And you might notice the times the mind has moved from the anchor to other thoughts, stories, plans, imaginings, sleepiness, restlessness, etc. And this is why we continue with the composure as we illuminate. So composing is just the beginning again. Body, here, present moment. And then bright curiosity with it. If you just have the composure without the illumination, you might notice there's a drowsiness or dopiness or grayness, heaviness. And if you just have the illumination without the composure, you might notice some restlessness or the mind flitting around with like butterflies. So both of these together now, composing and illuminating. Now you may be feeling some degree of stability, composure, and illumination, curiosity, brightness. It totally depends on an infinite number of factors, and you may not be feeling any stability at this time, and that's okay. You can just stay with grounding, embodied, anchoring, no problem. If you are feeling some stability with these two aspects, composure and illumination, see if you can maintain these gently and begin to open the attention. Meaning we stay embodied, we stay curious, and we're inclusive of a soft awareness that sounds are coming and going, breath, sensations coming and going, thoughts also arise and pass without us needing to push anything away or hold on to anything. A sense of spaciousness. The attention doesn't need to be tight and contracted in the body. Space, soft, wide, still grounded and curious. You're not doing anything wrong if the attention moves away. But every time noticing is an opportunity, is a mindful moment, is an opportunity to begin again. Compose the attention, illuminate the mind, and open the awareness. If you're finding it difficult to stay attentive and bright, you might find it very helpful to gently open your eyes to bring in some light. And in opening the awareness, you may have noticed that it gets a little bit too loose, or the mind attention is floating away into a bit of daydream or restlessness, planning. And so we're constantly adjusting these elements, factors. You might need to compose again. Embodied, grounded, centered. And then bring in more curiosity and brightness. When you're ready, gently opening again. And so here's a few more minutes of silence for you to explore these elements and see what's needed moment by moment. It is enough right now to taste one moment of peace. Of course, I want more, but at least the door is open. It is enough to draw a conscious breath and let my hands relax. Fingers releasing their tight grasp on things outside of my control. It is enough to shed a layer of stress, as if taking off a jacket or a pair of too tight shoes. Ease of being has to start somewhere. This breath is my first step. in these last few moments. Just checking in if there's a felt experience that we can become familiar with, to really note. What does it feel like to be composed, illuminate, and open? So that was a 30-minute practice. Yeah, I'll be interested to check in with folks on the Zoom call in a moment when we stop the recording here. But yeah, so if that, it can be really helpful to kind of have these touch points. I kind of think of it like ingredients, like a recipe. Keep adjusting a little bit, tweaking it a bit more of this, a bit more of that. To give each of these a nice chunk of time. It really helps to kind of break up like a 30-minute practice. If you're like, okay, pay attention to your breath, 30 minutes is that's hard. And yeah, so just take your time, compose, gather, and then bring in the curiosity, brightness, really paying attention, a nice 10-minute chunk of time. And then when those feel stable, gently opening without losing those other elements, those first elements. If you've joined us on the YouTube, the poem will be linked below, and the link to the TNI True North Insight, fundraiser with Joseph Goldstein and Pascal Auclair and Don Mauricio. The date of that is, oh, I just had it there. It's gone. I'll just, well, anyways, you can click on it to see, but May 28th to the 30th.
Oh, 28th.
And I imagine, I don't know for sure, it would probably say in the more details, but if you've registered and need to miss parts, they usually record it, and so then you can watch the recording. So even if you're already booked for those dates, yeah. And there's also links down below to support myself carrying on in this work of offering teachings in this way. So thank you if you're able to contribute to that. That is appreciated. Any amount is helpful. Okay, thank you for joining us on YouTube. And if you're here on the Zoom, you're welcome to hang on if you like, or go if you need to.